Hello student, we are from Devi Mahalakshmi Polytechnic Titwara, Department of Computer Engineering and Information Technology. Semester 5th, subject Software Testing. Myself Miss Anita Shirture. Now I am going to teach you the chapter number 4, Defect Management in Software Testing. This chapter is given for 12 marks. So let's start. Learning outcome of this video. In previous lecture or video, we had already taught the steps in defect management process. But in these lectures, I will explain in detail the topics of defect management process. So, the defect management process classified in the 5 the defect prevention, defect baseline, defect discovery, defect resolutions and the process improvement. In this video, I will explain in detail the defect management process. So, second topic is what is the defect life cycles, how using defect life cycles in a defect management, as well as what is the defect template and why use the defect template. So, then, chapter number 4, defect management. This chapter is given for 12 marks. So, in previous video we have already taught the management reporting. The management reportings, the some steps of defect management process. The steps in the defect prevention, deliverable baseline, defect discovery, defect resolutions and the process improvement. These are classified in a defect management process, and these classified is belong to the management reporting. So the first is the defect prevention process or the defect fixing. This is the sum of the topics of a defect management process, and in this defect fixings identify the critical risks, and after that estimate the expected impact and minimize the expected impacts are there. So the defect prevention is it should be begins with an assessment of the critical risks associated with the system. During the critical risks defined allows the people to know the type of defects that are most likely to occur. Strategies can then be developed to prevent them. The defect fixing or a defect prevention is a cycle of a risk analysis and actions based on its ranking, defects found in verifications or validation. Must be realistic and represent the possible areas of improvement in a development and testing process. The major steps for the defect prevention. In the figure shows they identify the critical risks, estimated expected impact and minimize expected impact. So, I will explain these topics in a short. They identify critical risks. The first step in preventing defects is to understand the critical risks facing the project or a system. The best way to do this is to identify the types of defects that carries the largest risks. In short, they are the defects that could endanger the successful constructions, discovery and or the operations of the system. These risks might include the missing a key requirement. A key requirement of a software product or project are the highest priority requirements for which the customers or users are paying. Missing requirements, wrongly interpreting the requirements or giving something more or extra than expected by customer or user represent major causes of defect. The second is the critical application software that does not function properly. Critical parts of a systems can be user interfaces, that is called as the UIs. Interfaces with some other systems, processing of data and generation of outputs. If there are errors in a critical parts of the system affecting the business, they may be reflected in user satisfactions or even lead to reflections of a product system. Third risk is the vendor supplied to the software does not function properly. During a software development, a project or product may use the several hardware or software components supplied by the third-party vendors. If these components to do work, it can create a problem for customer while using the software system. If the platform or database selected for the application fails, then the development team or organizations or firm cannot point a finger to the vendor for such failure. System requirement definitions is a responsibility of a development organizations or team, as limitations or problems expected from a certain technology must be communicated to the customer as known issue. The last risk is the performance is unacceptably poor. A system may fail to perform under load or stress, or a experience with system may be unsatisfactory due to the spray or performance. This aspect and applications is tested in an execution testing of a system. If user finds it difficult to use a system due to poor performance, the systems may get rejected. Performance requirements must be defined quantitatively in a requirement statements and implemented throughout the device. Next is hardware malfunction. Malfunctions of a hardware may impact the customer satisfaction and uses of a systems. If user cannot use the hardware due to some reasons, then the software. Next is estimated expected impact. When the critical risks are identified, the financial impact of each risk should be estimated. This can be done by assessing the impact in dollars if the risk does become a problem combined with the probability that the risk will become a problem. This product of these two numbers is the expected impact of the risk. The expected impact of a risk of E is calculated as E is equal to P into I. So here the P is the probability of the risk becoming a problem and I is the impact in dollars if the risk becomes a problem. Then next is the minimize expected impact. The expected impact may be strongly affected not only by the weather or not a risk becomes a problem, but also by how long it takes for a problems to become recognized and how long it takes to be fixed once recognized. The expected impact is also affected by the action that is taken once a problem is recognized. Minimizing expected impact involves a combination of the following three strategies. The first is the eliminate the risks. While this is not always the possible or desirable, there are situations where the best strategy will be simply to eliminate the risks altogether. For example, reducing the scope of a system. Second is reduce the probability of a risk becoming a problem. Inspections and testings are examples or approaches that reduce but do not eliminate the probability of a problems. Then third is reduce the impact if there is a problem. Next is deliverable baseline. A deliverable, for example work product, is a baseline when it reaches a predefined milestones in a development. This milestone involves the transferring the product from one stage of a development to the next. The work product moves from one milestone to the next. Defects in the deliverables have much is impact on the rest of the system, and making the changes becomes much more expensive. The concept of a baselining is important because it requires an organization to decide both the leaves formality, that is the appropriate, and the point in the process when the formality takes effect. In general, a deliverable should be baseline when changes to the deliverables or defects is deliverable can have an impact on a deliverables other peoples are working on. In this, defined key is the deliverables is involves. These are the selects those deliverables that will be baselines and the point within the development process where the deliverables will be baseline. And the next is the define the standard for each deliverable. Set the requirements for each deliverables and the criteria that must be met before the deliverable can be baseline. The next is the defect discovery. The defect has not necessarily been discovered when the user simply finds a problems with the strategies need not to be implemented that uncover the defect and facilitate the reporting and acknowledge of the defect. To make it easier to recognize defects, organizations should predefine defects by category. Involve the knowledgeable, respected individuals from all major areas of the IS organization. Group should be run by a facilitator. The objective is to identify the errors or problems that occur most frequently in the organizations and then get the agreement that they are in fact defects. A name should be attached to each category of a defect. The objective of this activity is to minimize the conflict over the validity of defects. For example, developers may not want to acknowledge that a missing requirements is a defect, but it has been previously defined as a defect category. Then that conflict can be avoided. Figure shows. Next is the defect resolution process. Once the developers have acknowledged a valid defect, the resolution process begins. Here, there are the four steps involved in the defect resolutions are shown in the figure. The first is the prioritize risk, second is the schedule fix, and third is the fixed defect, and fourth is the report resolutions. I will explain in detail in the next. So the prioritize risk, that means the purpose of these steps is to answer the following questions and initiate any immediate might be required. Is this previously reported defect or is it new? These purposes involved in these steps. So the first is this previously reported defect or is it new? Second is what priority should be given to the fixing this defect, and third is what steps should be taken to minimize the impact of this defect prior to a fix, and it should be the users be notified of the problem. Is there a workaround for the defect? A suggested prioritization method is a 3-level method as follows. The first is the critical. Critical, that means would cause the software to stop. Second is the major. Would cause an output of the software to be incorrect. The third is the minor. Something wrong, but it does not directly affect the users of the system. Second is the schedule fix. Based on the priority of the defect, the fix should be scheduled. It should be work. In this organization, the lower priority defects in a changes. All defects are not created equal from the perspective of the new quickly. They need to be fixed. Then third is the fixed defect. The steps involves the correcting and verifying one or more deliverable. For example, programs documentations required to remove the defect from the system. And in addition, next is the process improvement. This is the activity that is most ignored by organization but offers one of the greatest areas payback. It is only the developer's good luck that prevents a defect from causing a major failures. Even minor defects, therefore, represent an appropriate to learn how to improve the process, prevent potentially major failures. Participants should go back to the process that originates defect to understand what caused the defect. Then they should go back to the validation process that should have caught the defect earlier. Its process not only can valuable the insight we gain as to how the strength the review process. This human factors dimensions alone, according to some of the peoples of research interviewed, can have a very large impact on the effectiveness of the review process. Then next is the management reporting. It is important that the defect informations, which is natural byproduct of the defect management process, be analyzed and communicated to both the project management and senior management. This could take the form of a defect rates, trends, type of defects, failure cost to etc. Defect removal efficiency is also considered to be one of the most useful metrics, however, it to be calculated until the system is installed. The defect removal efficiency is the ratio of defects found prior to product operations divided by the number of defects found in the application. Information collected during the defect management process has a number of purposes. The first is to report on the status of an individual defect. Second, to provide a tactical information and the metric to help project manage. Then, defect life cycle. A defect life cycle is also called as the bug life cycle. The defect life cycle is a cycle which defect goes through or during its life. Defect life cycle is also known as a bug life cycle. Or starts when a defect is found and ends when a defect is closed after ensuring it's not reduced. Defect life cycles is related the bug found during the testing, and the bug has a different status in the life cycle. There is a systematic process or dealings with the defects found in a software. Defect changes various states from its origin to its closure and are taken care by various teams. Defect life cycle represent the flow of bug from one state to another. How a bug changes various status from its origin to its closure is denoted in the defect life cycle. The various status in a life cycle of the bug can be shown in the diagram. Bug or defect life cycle includes the following steps or status or states. First is open, new, also there. They open when a bug is the first found by a software tester. A report is logged and assigned to a programmer to be fixed. This state is called as the open state. Second is the resolve. It is the reopens. Then once the programmer fixed the code, he assigns the report back to the tester and the bug enters the resolve state. The tester then performs a verification test to confirm that the bug is indeed fixed, and if it is, close the report. Then third is the close. The bug then enters the final state, the close state. Then review. Generic lifecycle has two additional states and the extra connecting lines. The review state is where the project managers or the committee, sometimes called a change control board (CCB), decide whether the bug should be fixed. In some projects, all bugs go through the review state before they are assigned to programmer for fixing. In other projects, this may not occur until near the end of the project or not at all. Notice that the review state can also go directly to the close state. This happens if the review decides that the bug should not be fixed. It could be 2 minus is really not a problem or is a testing problem errors. Next is the default. Next is the defect template. A report or a defect template documents an anomaly discovered during the testing. Each and every organization's inbuilt have a defect template which captures a defect data. Different software management tools offers the defect template. Sometimes test case templates is extended as a defect templates. The purpose of a defect templates is to state the problems as clearly as possible so that the developers can replicate the defect easily and fix it. It includes all the information needed to reproduce the problems, including the author, release or build number, open or close date, problems area, problems descriptions, test environment, defect types, and how it was detected, who detected it, priority, severities, etc. as involved in these general defect report problems. Every defect has the distinguished attributes in. Thank you.